Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're diving into the art of sound design today. And before we get started into that, let me show you a glimpse of this short film I recently just made to show you what inspiration I took from to make this video and teach about sound design. Those sand dunes were pretty sweet, right? Let's delve into the intricate details of sound design and how we can elevate your filmmaking and take it to the next level. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm gonna assume you have a grasp of the basics of sound design. And if you don't, that's 100% okay. I did make a video on the basics of sound design and I'll put it up right here. And I would highly suggest you watch that video first and come back and watch this video after, because this video will make a whole lot more sense. The other one goes over the basics. This one builds off of the last video. All right, let's continue. So sound design, it encompasses a whole wide spectrum of different elements that make up your films, but we're gonna focus on the three main types today. The three main types are dialogue, sound effects, and music. And we're gonna break down how these three types of sound change the emotional landscape when watching a film, and how you can evoke a certain emotion through your films and get those people crying. First one up is music. Let's break it down. Music is the heartbeat of every film. I talked about that in my last video, but to break this down even further, when we start out filmmaking, a lot of us tend to make that mistake where we tend to pick a song we like and we love it so much and we want to make sure the people watching can hear the song. So we make the volume really loud, and if we even have sound effects in it, it tends to overpower the sound effects the music does. We lose interest in the film because it's the same song all the way through. How can we change that? Well, first off, we need to be intentional with how we use music, what music we select, and where we place it. It's a very powerful tool and it evokes a lot of emotion. Notice how the music in that video draws you in closer and builds suspense without overpowering the visuals. That's the key. Being selective with the music is huge. You need to ask yourself this question when you're making your films and you're in pre-production, whether it's for a commercial, it's a client work, or it's a passion project. Does this scene, does this video, does this part of your film, does this part of the client work need music to enhance? And be honest with yourself when you ask yourself this question. If the answer is yes, I'm showing a landscape, I'm establishing the area, I want to build a lot of tension, then maybe you want to add a song. If the answer is no, I want to just show the natural sounds in this portion, because honestly, having the natural sounds without any music can be very powerful, because it truly immerses the audience in where your film is taking place. You'll notice in a lot of films, a lot of establishing shots, they start with a song and then the music cuts out and it goes into just the natural sounds of where they're at. A lot of the times, landscapes, they don't have personalities. Well, they do, but using a song can create a narrative and build a world for someone watching. So you're filming a forest and you have an ominous song playing over a forest as you're establishing it. It's giving you the vibe that this forest might be up to no good, might be kind of scary. So think about how you want to portray each landscape. And if a song and a music can help you do that, then strongly encourage you to do that. That brings me to sound type number 2, sound effects and drones. Sound effects and ambient sounds can change the entire feel and emotions of the film when you're watching it. Whether it's the wind rustling in the background or a distant thunder, every sound matters. Every sound has a purpose and should have a purpose. You shouldn't be adding sound effects and adding drone sounds just for the sake of it. We really have to think about what story we're trying to tell. Sound design should enhance our storytelling, should enhance the story. If I know this story is taking place in the desert, it's vast, it's empty, it's scary, it's rough, I might use different sounds. I might use a drone sound that shows roughness, it shows sci-fi it. But remember, when you're using these sound effects and drone sounds, you want to use them subtly so that we can subtly change our viewers' perspective of what they're watching. The audience shouldn't know that you're using these sound effects. Whether it's drone sounds or birds flapping their wings or footsteps that you created in your studio versus actually recording them out on site, people shouldn't know that you did that. It should just help bring them into what they're watching. Making a film is like building a world. How can you craft this film? How can you build this world that you're telling through sound? When you ask yourself that question, you say, oh, so if I really want this world to be very natural, I might add birds into it. I might add rivers in the background, or just simple light wind that you can barely hear, but it's just white noise that you're just used to because when you're in the mountains, you're used to hearing all these natural sounds, and it's just a part of the landscape. How can you use sound to build your world, to tell your story that you want to tell? Now let's talk about the delicate balance between sound and silence. The absence of sound can be just as powerful as having lots of sound and lots of volume in your films. Think about this. You just see something crazy on screen, lots of sound, and it cuts to silence. And all you can see is the main protagonist just sitting there contemplating what he's gonna do, and he's shaking, but his facial expressions, they scream at you with no sound. It's a disturbing feeling when you see someone who's really angry, but they don't outwardly make a sound. That's why having a balance between sound and silence is incredibly important to plan out before you start filming. And this all goes back to having a plan, having pre-production done ahead of time, knowing what story you want to tell. Write down exactly what kind of story you want to tell, what kind of emotions you want to evoke. What's the point of the story? How can I add sound to make this happen? You need to know where you're going before you use sound design. If I know I want my film to evoke a sense of sadness, that really helps give me an idea of what kind of music I need to add, what kind of sound effects I need to add to the film to build that world up, to make the audience feel that certain way. Well, that's a wrap for today. I hope this deep dive into sound design helped give you a better understanding of how to properly use these and just get a different perspective on why we use sound design. To recap what we went over, we talked about sound effects, music, and the balance of using sound and not using sound. If you can harness these three elements in your films, you're gonna change the landscape of your films. You're gonna be able to evoke the emotions you want. Thanks for watching this video today. If you have any topics you'd like me to explore further, leave a comment below. Hit that like button if you found this video helpful. Until next time, keep creating, keep experimenting, and I'll see you on the next one.